blocked a trade to go back to the Warriors. So let's talk about it and let's evaluate, should Kevin Durant, and should is, maybe not the right word, because at the end of the day, I always talk about on this channel, you know, it's the individual player's, option or, in their best interest to do what they feel is best for them. So should may not be the right word, but sorry about the squeaky floorboard, I tell you every time. But do we think that Kevin Durant, I guess, in our opinions, would have had a better chance to win a title if he went back to the Warriors at the trade deadline when they were interested in acquiring him? So we've talked about this before on this channel. Obviously, we know that Kevin Durant, or we had heard, that Kevin Durant apparently, didn't want to go back. The reasons were not, necessarily stated, and the reasons, are, again, his prerogative if he wants to share that or not. But the fact was, Kevin Durant vetoed a trade to go back to the Warriors because the Warriors were interested, in trying to trade for him at the deadline from Phoenix. So that's a fact. The Warriors were trying to trade for him. And I believe it was going to be a 3-team deal with Miami because Phoenix really wanted Jimmy Butler. So that didn't happen. Jimmy goes to the Warriors and Miami gets Andrew Wiggins, and, the Phoenix Suns deal falls apart. So, offseason comes, Kevin Durant, we hear a lot of, speculation and rumor, especially after the trade deadline, that he was apparently, caught off guard and he didn't think he was going to be on the trading block. So, when that did happen, there was a lot of speculation that Kevin Durant will probably be traded this summer, which he was. So all that speculation was correct. That's why I tell you guys on this channel all the time, like, it's really hard to determine, what reports are accurate, I guess, because, like, I think it's unfair to say that, some of these, NBA analysts, writers, media members, whatever. Again, sorry about the squeaky floorboard. I don't know why. It's always in this spot. But, like, there are people around who are around the league, who have credible sources. So I actually said this recently on my live stream. I was like, people don't believe it's real unless it comes from Shams. Like, yes, people believe other sources as well, but, like, when you hear it from Shams, it's pretty much unanimously, like, agreed upon by everybody, like, okay, it's true, right? But there are other media members and stuff like that who have credible sources. But there is constantly rumors being put out left and right by not only people who are in NBA circles who, may just be looking for a headline, but also, again, I talked about, like, anybody. I have a channel. It was free to make my channel. And I try not to put out false information, of course. Like, I'm not trying to do that, but, like, anybody can make a page and make false information and it trends and goes viral. Now all of a sudden there's a trend that X player wants to trade when it's not true, right? So that's why, it can be hard to determine what reporting is true or not. But the Kevin Durant one, circling back, the Kevin Durant one came to fruition. He was traded after the season, and that was kind of what was speculated. So Kevin Durant, is in Houston now, and, we'll see how it works out, and, hopefully he's happy there and all that stuff, right? However, going back to, the beginning, Kevin Durant could have been back on the Warriors. That was the I don't know if I want to say that's the original trade because there were obviously multiple teams probably trying to trade for Kevin Durant. I do remember at the trade deadline hearing that like there wasn't as many suitors as Phoenix thought, and I think it had more to do with Kevin Durant's contract because he only had 1 year left on his deal after this. So it's kind of a rental in a way if Kevin Durant doesn't want to go to whatever team that is that he's traded to because he didn't have a no trade clause. So that obviously would make teams more hesitant, and then people are factoring in his age. Obviously his talent is undeniable. So there was more than one team though pursuing Kevin Durant, and one of them was the Warriors. So if Kevin Durant got traded to the Warriors, and again, I know that, this has been spoken about, but I'm bringing it up again because he was on some show or talk show or something, I don't know. But it was a few days ago, and that topic came up about the trade, being traded from Phoenix, and about him vetoing the Warriors trade. So, just to bring it up to you guys again, because maybe people's opinions have changed, especially given the landscape of the NBA now after everything that happened this season, being over. Do we think Kevin Durant would have a better chance to win the title if he was on the Warriors right now as opposed to the Houston Rockets? And I'm not saying whether he does or doesn't. I'm posing the question to you guys rather. Obviously Houston got better by trading for Kevin Durant. That's, undeniable. Because not only did they get Kevin Durant, but they also picked up Dorian Finney-Smith and Clint Capella, so they got, 3-and-D, they got veterans, they got experience. And this team was kind of young, so they needed more of that and stuff like that. And obviously quality players. So, Houston got better. That's a fact, right? The question is, did they get better than if the Warriors had picked up Kevin Durant? And obviously you assume that Steph is on the team. And Draymond's still there. I don't remember what the alleged package was. I know Kuminga was one of the centerpieces. The Phoenix Suns are still trying to get Jonathan Kuminga, so that makes sense. I couldn't tell you. I can't remember what the package was. I assume Andrew Wiggins would be in it for salary purposes. So, again, I'm making this up because I don't remember what it was or if it ever actually came out what the package was. Well, let's just say the package was Wiggins, Kuminga, Kyle Anderson for salary purposes, although I feel like it would have to be a 3-team deal because if you remember, Phoenix Suns were in the second apron, which means they have to do a one-on-one swap. So when you're in the second apron, you can't aggregate salaries. So like Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler, that works. I'm pretty sure that a two-team deal wouldn't work with Phoenix because of that reason. So let's just say it's a 3-team deal, whatever. And the package is Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, because he was included in the Miami deal, Schroeder, and Kuminga, because all those players were in the Miami trade except for Kuminga. So let's just say that's the package. Forget the picks for a second. That's not really relevant. So now the Warriors have Steph, Draymond, KD, GP2, Looney, Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, etc. Right? So that's like 7-8 players right there. Those are all quality players. And we're talking about 3 guys who have won at the highest level together, right? I personally believe with Jimmy Butler on the roster, last year, my personal opinion, again, what ifs are hard. I understand Minnesota earned their win. I'm not taking it away from them. But I do believe that if Steph didn't get hurt, they were beating the Timberwolves, right? So if you replace Jimmy Butler with Kevin Durant, it's a different roster because Kuminga's not there anymore, even though I know he had DMPs, but he did actually play a role, especially in the Minnesota series, but Steph did go down, so, changed everything. But if you had Kevin Durant, do you think that they beat the Timberwolves, assuming, Steph stays healthy? And if the answer is yes, that's just kind of my question is like, what would be the ceiling on the team with Kevin Durant? And I feel like the ceiling should be championship, not just because, they want to win a championship, but again, like, we're talking about Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, that's like 30, I was about to say 30 points combined, 30 points individually between the two of them, right? Like, Steph averages like 26 per game. Kevin Durant averages like 27 per game. So you're getting over 50 points between those two players. And obviously you have to have a full team. We see it in the playoffs. We saw 9-10 man rotations, Indiana, OKC. But what I'm saying is, like, you have two bona fide, like, 25 guaranteed. Pretty much guaranteed. Like, when do you see Kevin Durant get less than 25? And he'll do it on like 12 shots, right? Efficiently. So that guaranteed scoring and presence and everything that Kevin Durant does obviously makes every team better. And then let's just say, they trade for Kevin Durant and they don't win the championship. Obviously, they would go into the offseason same way they are now, looking to add players to make the roster better and stuff like that to win a championship. I believe if Kevin Durant was on the Warriors, he would absolutely, and the team would absolutely have a chance to win a championship, and I would give them a really good chance. That's my personal opinion. I feel like it's kind of the same thing, people say about Jokic, LeBron, maybe not so much now at 41. LeBron, Jokic, Steph. Like, when you have those players on your team, you always have a chance. And so, like, it's not 2016 again, 2016, 2017 when they had a Kevin Durant, and talking about prime Kevin Durant, prime Klay Thompson, and, the whole roster, Andre Iguodala and all that stuff. So obviously it's not the same as that. Different. But you're adding a guy who's 25 guaranteed in Kevin Durant, for sure. And we've seen when you pair Steph Curry along with another guy who can consistently score with him, he has consistently won championships. Now, it's not just Steph Curry. I talk about it all the time. It's the whole team. Draymond is an integral part of the team. Kevon Looney played a huge part, in their 2022 championship. So did Wiggins, which is, the consistent scorer I'm talking about. Jordan Poole, stuff like that. So everybody has to step up, of course. When you pair Steph Curry with Kevin Durant again, I know they're not 28 and 29 anymore, 20, 27, 28. The whole league is still looking at that as, how do we guard this? It still doesn't matter that Kevin Durant's 36 and Steph Curry's, 37, whatever, or whatever their ages are. The entire league would still look at it and be like, how do we guard this? This is impossible to guard. Now, again, does that mean that they were going to win the championship 100% guaranteed? Did they have, again, like 2017, were they just like so much better than everybody else that there's really no chance for anybody else? I wouldn't say it, they wouldn't have that advantage, to the degree that they had back then, but do I absolutely think that every single team would fear them in the playoffs? Absolutely. There is no denying that in my mind. So, again, posing the question to you guys, because I absolutely do agree Houston got better by adding Kevin Durant. It's 100% true. And they have championship aspirations now. So, my question to you that I will leave you with, and you can comment down below, after this video uploads, comment, you can like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you liked, the video too. I wouldn't mind a subscription, obviously, if you enjoyed. But would Kevin Durant's chances of winning a championship be better with the Warriors or now with Houston? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. I hope you enjoyed, and see you soon. Bye.